How's it going? So, firstly, I just want to apologise for not having uploaded any YouTube videos for about a week and a half. Unfortunately, as most of you know from the comments, I unfortunately came down with a very bad spell of the flu. It was not a good place to be. But good news is I am well, I am fine, and in light of current things going on in the world at the moment, it was nothing serious other than just a really bad spell of the flu. But a week and a half in bed and I am feeling much better, which is good because it means that I could get back to streaming and I can get back to recording some videos. So if you are interested, if you have got any questions with regards to what's in this video or any of the other videos previous, I stream every Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Start streaming at 7:30, that's UK time, and I finish at 10:30, 11:30 and 12:30 on those days. So feel free to stop by, and if you've got any questions, feel free to ask them. Eve is on a Saturday night. Then it's a variety kind of community game on a Friday night, and then on a Thursday night. It's basically my day to play whatever I feel like, which is good fun. So by all means, feel free to stop by. Links are all in the description below. You've got access to my Discord, you've got access to the stream, and there's a couple of other things there if you want to check them out as well. On to today's video. So, as I'm sure you've probably can probably tell from both the the way I present myself and the way the videos are done, I am very new to this, so apologies if the quality does kind of fade a bit. I am doing my best and I am learning as this goes on. But today's video is about scanning. Now, one of the things I kept seeing in the comments was people were struggling with scanning. Couldn't work out like the difference between the combat signatures, or the cosmic signatures, sorry, and the cosmic anomalies. They were just running cosmic anomalies and they weren't scanning signatures, or they were struggling when it came to split signals, when it came to actually tracking down them. So I'm going to go into a few things in a bit of detail, and I'm hopefully going to cover off as much as I can, but I'm going to try and keep it as simple as I can, because there are a few videos, I would imagine there are probably a few videos anyway, out there that will explain scanning. They can be fairly overwhelming, and this game is complicated enough as it is. There are elements of this game that will just make your head explode. Trust me, chemical reactions make your brain go, "Ugh." So yeah, you don't, just let's try and keep it simple. So I will go through a couple of things really quick, which will just explain some of the reasons why I'm using specific modules, why I'm not using other probes over set probes as well, and then we'll kind of get into the actual art of doing it. So if this video is helpful, please hit the subscribe button. I can see from the little stats thingy on the YouTube thingy, it tells me that 94% of you are not subscribed. Holy crap. I have to get to like over 1,000 subscribers before things actually start working on YouTube. So if you're not already subscribed, please. Go on, do it. Just, I can wait. It's fine. I'll wait. You done it? I'm going to assume you've done it. And if you've done that one, you can hit the like button as well. How ironic. Anyway, so on to scanning. Right. Let's do this. Right. First things first, switch scenes. So, this is space. It is yellow. Inside space, this is actually red. Slightly awkward. We'll brush over that. Okay, so when you're scanning in space, what you're essentially looking for, or when you're running the previous videos, tutorials, which are around making ISK in HiSec, when you're scanning, ultimately, what you're looking for is found in this, which is pinned, so I can't move it. There we go. What you're looking for is signatures and anomalies that are found in this. Now, this is your probe scanner. You will find that to the left of your capacitor, just down here, where it says scanners. If you click this button, you'll see one to the left that says probe scanner. If you click that, well, it closed for me, but if you click it again, it'll open. It may open up in that form initially if you're opening it for the first time, If you want an easy and clean view, just press the little square button to open in a separate window, and you've got your map and your probe scanner separate, which means you can close the map while keeping your scanner open. Really helpful little tip, because it means that you're not having to basically clutter your screen. You can see everything that's going on, and you can micromanage things a little easier. So that's where you'd locate the scanner. Once you've got your scanner open, in here you'll see a variety of results. This can depend on what options you've got selected in the filtered tab. So to change that, for what I'm doing now, if I'm combat scanning, I use obviously different options, but for what I'm doing specifically, I'll only have anomalies and combat signatures selected. So for the sake of this, I want you to go ahead and do exactly the same thing. Make sure that only anomalies and signatures are selected. Once you've gone ahead and done that, if you open up the solar system map, it will give you a view of the solar system. You can alter this from top down to side profile by double clicking, and it will give you top down, side view, top down, side view. This will be important later on, so just remember that. You can do this using these buttons, but for the sake of double clicking, it's just faster. So we're just going to go on the basis that you're double clicking. Once you've got your map open, and I'm going to move this over here so you can actually see everything. Once you've got your map open, I want you to go ahead. Up here in the top left hand corner is a button that says markers. Go in there and untick everything. Take all of that off. You don't want any of that lot ticked. This essentially is just clutter. When you've got them all ticked, you've got all of this going on your screen, and it's just in the bloody way. Because you'll be scanning and you'll be like, okay, click, okay, I just want to get to my probes, please. Okay, no, that's in the way as well. Okay, this is in the way. This is annoying. Turn it all off. If you remove them all, they can't get in the way. And it also makes identifying orbital bodies a whole lot easier. So, once you've gone and you cleared that, I'm going to assume that you are now in a similar spot to where I am, which is good. So, we're going to get onto the technology next. Sounds daunting, I know, but let's get onto technology. Okay, so technology, fairly simple. There are, in order for you to scan down a signature, you require what is called a probe scanner. Now, I'm going to show you the difference between a signature and an anomaly in a second, but for now, we'll go with it in stages. So, in order for you to scan down a signature, you are required to have a probe scanner. Now, these come in 3 variations, which look like this. Now, I use the Sisters Core Scanner Probe, and there is a reason for that. And the reason specifically is the bonuses that it gets. Now, on the screen, if I close this, on the screen now are some graphics that are displaying the differences between a core probe launcher, a Sisters probe launcher, and a Tech 2 probe launcher. Hopefully in that order, or all 3 at the same time. Let's find out. So, as you can see in this, it clearly states that there is a bonus to using the different types. So for a core probe launcher, you will get no bonuses. It is a raw probe scanner. It gives you no bonuses whatsoever. Now, if we skip over to the Tech 2 launcher, I'm doing this from memory. I don't have the graphics in front of me, so if I get this wrong, I will put some text down here that calls me an idiot and then corrects me by pointing at it with a fairly large arrow. Anyway, so if you're using a Tech 2 probe launcher, it is a 5% increase to probe strength. Hopefully I got that right. The Sisters Core Probe Launcher gives you a 10% bonus to the core probe strength. This is essentially when you launch your probes, they have a default value. And for this, I am actually going to have to show info. And did I get it right? Got it right. So this core, this strength of scan probes is essentially the bonus that you get from the probes when you're using them, if it's going to actually let me show info on them, it's probably not going to let me do it from there. I'm going to have to open up a fittings window. There we go. And we're going to go to this, and we're going to show info on charge. Okay, so let's go to variations first so that I can do this and then this. Okay, so when you're using the different types of probes, depending on the launcher that you've got, it will get a bonus. If you are using a core probe launcher, nothing here will change. It will look exactly the same. Your skills might vary it slightly, but ultimately it's not going to change. As you can see here, if I go to the one that's currently equipped, so that's the Sisters Core scanner probes that I've got equipped at the moment, you can see here my base sensor strength goes up to 113.4 from 44. That just comes from using the core probe launcher, the Sisters Core probe launcher. If I switch that out to a Tech 2 probe launcher, you would see that number would not be as high. It would be higher than 44, but it's not going to be that high. The other reason why I'm using the Sisters Core probes, and we'll get into that now, with probes themselves, there are 3 variations to the probes. You've got your standard Tech 1 probes that do exactly that. They scan, and that's it. There is no fanciness, there's no flashiness, they just scan. Fantastic. However, they are not as strong as their alternatives, which are the Sisters Core probes, Sister Core probes, or RSS Core probes. Now, unless you're feeling very, very flush, don't bother with the RSS probes. They are literally it's just a way of spending money for absolutely no reason other than spending money. The variation between Sister Core probes and RSS Core probes isn't enough to justify the, I think it's 65 million ISK per probe versus a million ISK. It just doesn't justify it. So for the sake of this, don't go near the RSS. They're not worth paying that extra money for. So the stats that you will get from I'm going to have to open up my fittings again, although you can see these on screen because I've got graphics there. For me, I don't have the graphics, so I'm having to do this by looking at it because prepared. So info and info. Okay, attributes and attributes. Okay, so you can see here base scan range is 0.25 AU. Base scan range 0.25 AU. Base sensor strength 40. Base sensor strength 44. So these are all automatically stronger. Maximum deviation 0.125. Maximum deviation 0.125. Scan range increment factor times 2. Scan range increment factor times 2. I think the only other difference is hit points, and I'll be honest with you, if anyone's actually going to shoot them, more power to them. Let them crack on. They can enjoy that all they want. So ultimately, the difference between a set of core probes and sister core probes is just that. It's just the sensor strength. The reason why that's important is because the higher your sensor strength is, the faster you're going to lock a target down, and the more accurate your results are going to be. This makes life a million times easier. So, again, for the sake of the previous tutorial, which is about scanning down dead sites, we're going to go with the base fact that you're going to be using a core probe launcher that belongs to the Sisters group, so the Sisters Core Probe Launcher, and the Sisters Core Scanner Probes. They are the best option for you scanning, and I'm pretty sure anyone out there that does scanning will tell you exactly the same thing. For what you're paying, they're the best for your money. When it comes to combat scanning, you've got your Sisters Combat Probes. Again, they work just as well. The only difference is you'll need an expanded probe launcher, but again, go with your Sisters expanded probe launcher. You're going to get the best bonuses from that. So that is essentially probes and the probe launchers in a nutshell. Hopefully that makes sense. That's why we go for those, because they're going to get you the best results the fastest. Okay, so next, on to anomalies and signatures. Okay, so one of the things that kept coming up in the video, or sorry, in both videos actually, was that people were running the anomalies and they weren't scanning down the sites, or they were getting stuck when it came to scanning down the sites, or they couldn't find the sites, or they couldn't find the signatures, apologies. So they were running the anomalies, they weren't running the signatures, or they couldn't tell the difference between the anomalies and the signatures. It is a very simple process, and I'm about to explain it for you right now. Okay, so we are going to assume that you are currently looking at your screen in somewhat of a similar style to mine right now. Obviously your overview is going to be different, and potentially the background of space will be, depending on if your space is currently being invaded by Triglavians. If you're watching this in the future, it sucks for route planning. If you're not watching this in the future, it still sucks for route planning. So, hopefully your screen is looking somewhat similar to mine right now. When you've got your probe scanner open, you will see this in here. This is listing anomalies and signatures. Anomalies are things that you can warp to instantaneously. You don't need to scan them down. They are automatically scanned as soon as you enter system, or by pressing V. Well, in my case, full stop. Oh, I launched my probes. Whoops. We'll get to that in a minute. They are essentially refreshed whenever you enter a system. So when you jump through a Stargate, you will see that you get this like bar that whizzes across the front of your screen, and it looks all cool and flashy, and then you get little blue dots to start popping up. This is your internal probe scanner picking up any anomalies, structures and stuff like that, and then identifying them on your screen easily for you to see. So in the example of this one, I've jumped into the system. You can see here we've got a blue marker here which is identifying the Citadel. We've got another one here that's identifying a Citadel. We've got a yellow one here. This is a warpable location. It's essentially they're like pockets of space, but they don't do anything. Or at least I don't really go to them that often, so they might do something. Up here we've got green ones. These are anomalies, and then if we can find it somewhere in here, because I was completely prepared for this. Yeah, a point where you really think you shouldn't have. Aha! Right in front of my ship. And right here you see a red one. This red one here indicates that there is a signature. So, if it is green, it means that you can warp to it instantaneously. The description of what it is will be listed here under its name. So, for instance, Serpentis Refuge, if you remember from the other video, that's what we're looking for, is refuges and hideouts. So, from here you can see there are 2 refuges in system, so we can warp straight to those. Those are anomalies. Combat signatures are highlighted in red, they are highlighted in space in red, and they are also identified on your map by a big whacking great red circle. This is how you will tell the difference between a signature and an anomaly. What you're supposed to be doing when you're running the sites, or running particularly this tutorial that I've done for making ISK in HiSec and trying to help you guys out, what you want to be doing is, while you are running the refuges and the hideouts, so you've jumped into system, there are 2 refuges here. I can't do it in this ship because I'm in a scanning one specifically to make this video. But you would warp to the refuge, you would then engage whatever is there. While you are fighting it, you will launch your probes. This will give you a bunch of things on the screen here that you'll be able to move around. You continue to shoot whatever is in that site while you are multitasking and scanning. Now, one of the things that I do to try and help speed that up and just kind of make things a little bit more micromanaged is I arranged my shortcuts so that I could basically do this with as little input as possible, so I'm not having to sit here and go down to here, adjust probe size, go down to here and then hit scan, and then all that is way too many inputs for me, so I decided to make it much simpler. Now, what you do, if you press escape, you can go into your shortcuts, and then in here under combat you've got some options. You've got decrease probe scan strength, which I've got set to the number subtract. You've got increase probe scan strength, which I've got set to number plus, and then you've got scan, which I've got set somewhere down here to decimal. There we go. So essentially, if I want to increase the size of my probes, I hit plus on my keyboard. Whoop! If I want to shrink them down, I hit minus and they shrink. If I'm done and I've got them at the right size that they need to be, I can then hit full stop and they will scan. Makes my life a million times easier and ultimately makes the whole process a lot faster. And now there's another site here. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to assume that you have now got your probe scanner set up, so you can now see, you now understand what the results are that you're seeing on your scanner. We're going to assume that you've now cleared your map up here, your scan map up here, so you're only seeing the white dots. We're going to assume that you've got the right scanner, and we're going to assume that you've got the right probes. As long as you've got all that, we can jump over to the next bit, which is the scanning. So yeah, on to that. Hopefully your map is now looking like this. What you want to do is launch a set of probes, and you'll get this. From this window here, you're going to come down to your probe scanner, and you are going to change it to pinpoint formation. It may be looking like this right now. This is horrible. Never use this. This is awful. Change it to this. Leave it on this. Never touch that button again. I've just saved you a ton of hours. That button is pointless. Absolutely pointless. Anyway, right, so keep your probes in pinpoint formation. Now you want to set your probes to 4 AU. There should be no reason for you to set them greater than 4 AU. It may happen on occasion. This usually, like I said, means that you're either chasing down a sleeper site or a wormhole that's kind of gone awry. But in the main, keep it at 4 AU and you'll find your site. Now, once you've got your probes out, all you're going to do, keeping it in top-down view, so remember I said about you've got your double click and you can switch to side profile, top-down, side profile, top-down. Keep it in top-down. You want to click at the center of the box and you want to move it, don't right-click at the same time, you want to move it so that the white dot of an orbital body within that red circle is in the center of that square. Now double-click, and you can adjust this, again, by just grabbing the white square and moving it up. If you want to make sure you've got it, zoom in, and you can... oh, hang on, I need to select the probes. You can actually... Oh, by the way, you can center the probes on the screen by double-clicking on them. But so to make sure that we've got it aligned up, we're just going to go in and we're going to adjust that. Okay, so that's that one done. That's that one done. That is now all of my probes centered at 4 AU around that site. A little bit quicker, you'll obviously end up picking this up. You'll just blitz across it and you'll end up getting it in no time. That takes no time at all to learn. So once you've got them centered on that, you've got it set at 4 AU. Again, like I said, I've got my scanning keys set to shortcuts, so I can shrink them down. I can increase them depending on how many times I press the plus and minus key. We're going to set it to 4 AU and we're going to hit scan. It's going to do its business. Well, first the probes have got to warp off, and now it's going to make a lot of noise. Bang. We now have a combat site. And because we got it at 4 AU, within that instant moment, we've got this at 91%. I now know it's a combat site, it's the Serpentis drug outlet, and if I wanted to go and run this now, I could then warp into it in my ship and go wipe everything out, get whatever's at the end. Operation success. Once it is at 100%, and all you do to do that is you shrink your probes down one size, make sure that your probes are aligned on both axes, so top down, side profile, make sure it's in the center of the box, hit scan. We have it at 100%. This is now warpable. Everything that is in here now is warpable. It will go green and it will have a symbol here that says warp to. This means you have successfully scanned it down and you can now proceed onwards and hopefully make an absolute ton of money. Now, I'm going to see if I can find one, so you'll have to bear with me and we'll probably just fast forward this bit because I don't know if I'm going to be able to... I'm going to try and do something intentionally to basically get a result. So bear with me a second. Perfect. Found it. Right. Okay. So, this is what I wanted. Now, before I do go any further, credit for this, just because, like I said, some of this stuff, you know, I'm not 100% on, and so I get input from other people. Ravaging Gold helped me out with this, so credit for this one goes to him, because my usual process was a lot more complicated. Okay, if you are scanning and you get this result here, where you have two signatures, 1 and 2, both are exactly the same, there's no variation between the two, they literally look identical. What you want to do is look for whichever one has the most coverage of probes. So for instance, looking at it, this one is within all of these, yeah? If we change it to the side profile, you can see that the bottom one here is actually got less coverage of probes. So if we move our probes to this one, because it's the one furthest away from the original probe location, our probes were originally here, this is the one furthest away. So we're going to move our probes to this one, we're going to shrink it down 2 steps, and we're going to zoom in, and we're going to hit scan. And in theory, we should get a signal. Or I picked the wrong one. There we go. So if you ever get that and you've got a double signal, all you need to do, work out which one is furthest away from this box. Use it as a measurement. Which one of these 2 dots is furthest away from that box? Whichever one it is, shrink it down 2 steps, move this to that, hit scan, and you'll get it. You'll see I went from 17% to 100% in 2 scans, and the first one was a really bad result. We didn't know what it was, now we know it's a wormhole. And this is the process that I use. This is scanning. This is all that is required. To make life easier when you are scanning, I would always recommend taking 2 sets of probes. Because what will happen is, and I'll show you this, when you launch your first set of probes, oh, I can't do it because I'm cloaked, hang on. When you launch your first set of probes, your probe launcher is now empty. Now you've got to recall those probes, reload, and then either jump into the next system or jump into the next system and reload. This is a 10-second timer that you don't really need. For the sake of just making things a little bit easier, take a second set of probes with you. This way, when you launch them, your second set will automatically reload, meaning that when your probes are recalled, you jump through the gate, you can instantly relaunch your next set, and it will again reload them with the previous set that you've already recalled. And that's scanning. That is it in a nutshell. You could go into a lot of different technicalities about oh well, you know, if you hold down control, you can adjust the pitch and the yaw, and you can, you know, you can make custom formations, and you know, if I wanted to, I could put one there and stick one here by holding down shift. I can create a random pattern that looks like something out of, I don't know, a Jason Pollock or something, and then I can save that if I wanted, so that I've got a formation of my own that now whenever I launch probes, I can just launch probes and tell it to go from this formation. I didn't tell it to save the other formation, but ultimately you can create your own custom formations. For the sake of doing what we're doing, you don't need to. The pinpoint formation will work, and it will work 100% of the time. So hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully it's been helpful. If you have got any questions, by all means, feel free to chuck them in the comments. Like I said, I do stream every Thursday, Friday and Saturday, starting at 7:30 UK time. I don't know what that is for the other time zones. I know my own. So it's 7:30 in the evening for the UK, and it's plus 1 hour if it's in Eve. So 7:30 Eve time. There we go. I think that's universal anyway. Like, Eve's time is everyone's got the same time. Anyway, I'm yammering on for no apparent reason whatsoever. So yeah, if you want to come and check me out on stream, my links are all below the video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Until then, I will not see you on the next one. I'm actually going to give you a bit of a snippet about the next one. So a request has been made for the next video, and it is about running Triglavian Space. And I want to get your opinion on it, so I'm going to ask you for it now. If you want to see a video on Triglavian Space, I need you to let me know. Now, the setup that I use, and probably one of the reasons why I'm hesitant to do this video, is because it has got a very substantial price tag attached to it. It does require a large amount of money to use, and that in itself can be quite off-putting. Now, the justification for that cost is that I'm lazy, and I like to make things as easy as I can for myself. So the setup that I have got, well, I made a point of doing it on stream. I jumped into a tier 5 exotic in my ship. I launched the drones. I stood up. I launched the drones. I told it to approach the gate, and then I stood up and walked away. Stood there and let them carry on. No issues with tank, no issues with capacitor, no issues with aggro. Just let them carry on. And then the only time that I think you need to kind of manage it, I guess, is when you're coming up against Harrowings, and that can be explained if it's a video you want to see. So if you want to see how I do that, by all means, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I will jump on that next. I'm also working on a new fit for Amarr and Minmatar Space, because there's been some alterations to hardeners which make it a little bit more problematic, so I'm making some tweaks on that. But if there's anything else you'd like to see, maybe some videos on, if there's anything that you're struggling with, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to accommodate. Until then, I shall see you all on the next one. Have fun and fly safe. Bye bye.